To make this bag, you'll need to know how to make 2 stitches. To start in crochet, we always start with a slip knot. To make a slip knot, form a loop with the yarn, pass the hook through the loop, pick up the yarn, and pull it through. You're going to need to know chain stitch. To make a chain stitch in crochet, you simply pick up the yarn with the hook and pull it through. You pick up the yarn and pull it through the loop on the hook. Pick up the yarn, pull it through the loop on the hook. Pick up the yarn, pull it through the loop on the hook. That's a chain stitch. You're going to need to know chain stitch, and you're going to need to know single crochet. So when you start single crocheting for the first row, you're not going to work in the first stitch, you're going to work into the second stitch. To make a single crochet, you insert the hook through the stitch, and you pick up the yarn and you pull it through. And then you pick up the yarn and you pull it through both loops on the hook. And that's a single crochet. Again, pass the hook through the stitch, pick up the yarn and pull it through. You now have 2 loops on your hook. Pick up the yarn, pull it through both of them. So now you have completed 2 single crochets. There's your chain stitch, and here's your single crochets. We'll do one more single crochet. Pass the hook through the stitch, pick up the yarn, and pull it through. You have 2 loops on your hook. Pick up the yarn, pull it through both loops on the hook. Okay, so let's get started with the pattern. Okay, to make this bag, I'm going to work with a 9mm crochet hook, and I'm going to work with 2 strands of worsted weight yarn. Okay, to start this bag, we're going to chain 40. Chain 40, you'll be able to fold the chain over and then bring this part down for a flap. We're aiming at being able to wrap the rectangle over and then have enough to fold down over for a flap. So you can chain 30, you can chain 20, you can chain however many you want. Okay, so now we're going to single crochet in the second stitch from the hook, this one, and we're going to single crochet in every stitch across the chain. Single crochet in every stitch across the chain. So I'm going to go off camera and finish this row of single crochet. Okay, so I've gone ahead and I have single crocheted in every stitch across the row. Now we're going to chain 1 and turn. And this bag is worked in the ribbing stitch. If you notice it looks rippled, well, that's called the ribbing stitch in crochet. And so to do the ribbing stitch in crochet, you work only in the back side of the stitch. Normally you would put your hook underneath those 2 loops, but for the ribbing stitch you go in from the top and you only work into the back side of the stitch. So again, we're not going to work into that first stitch because our chain 1 counts as the first stitch. So we're going to work a single crochet in every stitch across the row, working in the back side of the stitch only. Single crochet in the back side of the stitch. In the back side of the stitch. Okay, so I'm going to complete that row off camera. Okay, I finished the second row, and as you can see, this bag will progress very quickly. We're going to continue to do the same thing, repeat that same row. Okay, so we finished our rectangle, and I folded it up, and now we'll be able to fold this flap down. And this one going to measure about 7 inches and about 11 inches across. What we're going to do is we're going to place the 2 sides together. Okay, to slip stitch, fold your bag so that you have enough for a flap to fold down. Start here at the top Place your hook through the first stitch, and the stitch on the opposite side, place the hook through there also. And there's going to be the flap, and this is going to be the side seam. And you're going to take your yarn, and you're going to bring it through both of those stitches. All the way down the side, you're going to match the stitches, and you're going to pass the hook through both sides, through this side and this side, and you're just going to do a chain stitch, which is called a slip stitch when you're joining two together. So again, pass the hook through this stitch, and pass it through the stitch on the opposite side, and pull the yarn through both stitches. Okay? I'm just going to continue down the row, matching the stitches, passing through both sides, and slip stitching. If you can master this, it gives a much better result than stitching with the yarn needle. You can see how that gives a really good seam. You can leave this slip stitch seam on the outside, or you can turn it so that it's on the inside of your bag. So continuing down the row, match the stitches and slip stitch. All the way down the side of the bag, and then we'll fasten off, and then we can thread this yarn end into a yarn needle and weave it into the finished work. So you're going to do the seam on both sides. This is the one that's done, and we'll go to the opposite side and we'll slip stitch this seam closed. Now here's a great way to make a buttonhole. This is just a elastic for your hair. So I'm going to fold it in half. I'm just going to keep this as one end. And I'm going to hold this. You're going to go over to the flap, fold it in half to find the center of the flap. Then just pass this elastic through one of the stitches, and then bring it through like this. And then this little metal part will be at the top of your buttonhole. And then you sew a button underneath, and this will be a great buttonhole. It's stretchy and it's perfect. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to do the handles. To make the handle, using 3 strands of yarn, chain 60. Make 2 strands of 60. Leave the yarn ends at the beginning and at the end of the chains. Place the 2 chains together and tie them together in the center with a knot. Tie the ends together with a knot. With a yarn needle and yarn, attach the handles to the sides of the bag. And so that's how your finished bag looks. You've got some cute little tassels here at the end of your ties, and your knot holds your 2 strands of the handle together, and your button is sewn on to use with the hair elastic as a buttonhole.